Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Entrepreneur TV Middle East. Here we are, day 2 of the AI Festival in Medina Jumeirah. Absolute pleasure meeting you today. We have Wang with us. He's the Chief Representative for Middle East and Africa at Sino-International Entrepreneurs Foundation. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I suppose you arrived to us all the way from China?
Yes.
Crazy.
Arriving
Long
last
flight.
night.
Long flight. Well, welcome to Dubai. How's it treating you so far?
It's absolutely a pleasure here to be here, and actually this is my second year joining the Dubai AI Festival. And this year we brought a Chinese delegation as a strategic China partner. We brought a Chinese delegation with 10 leading companies, both from the public sector and the private sector.
Beautiful.
Joining this.
Amazing. Well, welcome. Hope Dubai is treating you well. So you did pick the founder mindset of growth questions. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that. So kicking off, there's the first question, which was the hardest decision you think that entrepreneurs need to make in their life?
I think the hardest decision is to at any time to say if they want to start something, right? To really have to put their idea really into motion, to fully commit into that. You know, people
and have a date.
Yes, people have so many ideas ongoing, but at certain time you need to say, okay, this is something I'm going to stick with and going to push that forward.
Right. Question number 2, what keeps you up at night as, you know?
I think for me, it's one thing is how we support the Chinese entrepreneurs connecting with the global resources, act as a bridge. The bridge of information for their market opportunities, the bridge of investment for their fundraising and all this, and also the bridge of talent, how to support the business to find the right talent.
Right, amazing. And it's great that you're doing that because sometimes that communication is missing, right, between the two entities. How do you define success?
I would define success by 2 words. So one is delivery. So what exactly have been done rather than what have been said. The second word is legacy. Success is not about at the present how people see you, but it's really afterwards how people will view.
What have you done? What have you changed?
Yes.
And so how will you be remembered?
Yes, I would say delivery and the legacy are the 2 words defined.
That's a beautiful, yeah, I've heard a lot of answers to that question today, but I really like yours. I feel like it's straight to the point. I really like it. Up next, what's one trait that you think every entrepreneur or founder should have? Their personality trait, you know?
I think the most important trait for entrepreneurs is I would say is the inclusiveness. The inclusiveness of people. For example, when they set up the team, you have your own kind of competency, how you find the right partners, how you find your right team, and as the business goes forward, how you grow your team. That's the inclusive of talent. The inclusive of ideas, how you really bring together, the idea from different people, your own ideas, how you synergize those. And also the inclusive of voice. As an entrepreneur, along your journey, there's always, different voices from the market, from your competitor, from media, from all over the place. But how you embrace that and to reflect on that. I think that inclusiveness is what truly makes the entrepreneur success.
Right, and it's not always easy to have. You need to learn it. What do you think? Do you think entrepreneurs are born or do you think entrepreneurs are made?
That's a very good question, and I believe a lot of debate on that. I think
we do have the $1 million questions here.
I think the entrepreneurs, I would see this thing in 2 sides. So one side is a successful entrepreneur need to have 2 kind of set of things. One is a mindset, which I believe a lot of time is born. If you really truly are kind of risk-driven, you want to take risks, or you're risk reverse, right? Are you really going outward or inward? I think that's a mindset side. But on the skill set part, really, doing the analysis, doing the project management, all these, that are the parts being trained. So I would say it's a mix. So you need to have a perfect mix of the mindset and the skill set to make your success.
Right. That's a great way of looking at it. But tell me one more thing. How do you handle fear?
I think for handling fear, it's about communication. So a lot of time when you feel uncertain, you're trying to keep it within yourself, but that makes you feel fear. It's about the communication you're sharing with your, your loved ones, you're sharing with your closest team, sharing with your partners. And a lot of time it's really when you speak those out, and one way is probably finding the solution towards what you worry about. But more importantly, to help yourself to release the pressure. I think the type of the communication, you chat with them, you get the empathy from the closer circle. That's what support the most towards the fear.
Right, but it's also, I think, the unknown. I feel like when we're not educated enough and we don't know something, we fear it because we don't know much about it. So maybe even actually educating yourself, reading more about it and getting into it, it will help reduce it and control it, right?
Absolutely. I think there's two stages of the unknown question. One stage is what we call the you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That's a worst situation. You don't even know what you should fear for.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's fine.
Yeah. Then the second stage, which we're talking about, is you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
When you see something you don't really understand,
yeah,
the key thing is really one way is trying to figure it out on your own, but more importantly, trying to see around you who are the one knowing it, or possibly having an answer.
And that's where communication comes in.
That's where the communication comes. And then rather than, no one know everything. It's really about, I always see the entrepreneur needs to play like a spider. So what you do is you really create the net. The bigger the net, the more dense the net you connect, you capture more things around here.
Yeah.
And then you decide, you connect which point together.
Right. And you see what's related and what isn't, what you need, what you don't need.
Absolutely.
Right. Up next, what's been your biggest personal growth moment on your journey and in your career?
I think the biggest thing for me is about change. When before I take the current role, I was a consultant and based in Hong Kong. And then it's a big change to shift both from the for-profit to a non-profit organization, as well as from Asia to Middle East. That is quite a shift, both on the geographic-wise, the type of work-wise, and then the required mindset.
You need to adapt and be agile in that moment.
Yeah, that was I would say the challenge I took in the recent years.
One final question for you, William. What sort of advice would you give to all those entrepreneurs out there?
I would say, if it's advice, I would say three words. So first is open-minded. You always keep an open-minded on what's the possibilities ahead, especially given the current uncertain world. Things can change rapidly, but what the only thing doesn't change is change itself. The open-mindedness is first thing. Then the second thing I would say is focus on the mindset rather than the skill set. We see a lot of entrepreneurs doing all the time is to perfect their skill set, either doing the research or doing the product design, doing all this. But take a step back. More think about what drives the real success. It's a mindset, how you see, if you have a right vision, if you are able to embrace the situation, and then if you can really understand, what are the development needed for yourself. Then the third thing I would say is, it's a reflection.
Right.
So as an entrepreneur, every day you have a lot of requests. Come in, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're busy with everything. But by the end of the day, if you can really take 5 minutes to think about if what we did today is what matters the most, and if not, how best to refine that tomorrow. That type of self-reflection is what drives the long-term, the lifelong growth.
100%. Beautiful piece of advice. Thank you so much, William. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks a lot.
And we wish you the best of luck to many more.